Okay, welcome back. This is day 8 of the Run It Up challenge on DraftKings. For those of you just joining us, this is a challenge that I started to take $100 and run it up as high as possible using good bankroll management, only putting 10% of the bankroll in play every single day, discussing strategy, using a single lineup in these games. So, to recap, on day 1, we lost the entire 10% of the bankroll. That was my fault. I entered the same lineup into 8 50-50s, which I should not have done. I should have spread it out over heads-up games, which I've made that adjustment, and we've been battling back ever since. So we've got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. Today is December 21st. It's a Sunday. We got to go back 2 nights ago, so to Friday night, because we did not recap this lineup yet. We scored 280 points, which on any given night is usually a great score, and we would have reaped the benefits, but not particularly on Friday night. There was another triple overtime game with the Spurs and sorry, my mic was really loud there. The Spurs got into another triple overtime game. We did not have any Spurs, so we benefited from the first 3 overtime game and not in the second one. So while we did put up 280, there was a lot of high scores to be had, and we were in 7 heads-up games, and we won 2 of them, losing 5, and we bubbled and just barely did not cash in the GPP. So that was a little disappointing. Overall, a solid lineup. I was super happy with it. Shabazz Muhammad is just a really stellar play. It was great with Corey Brewer out. We had a couple of good value plays. Thomas Robinson, I said he might come back down to earth, and he certainly did. 11 points. He didn't play very much, which hurt us a little bit. But I'm happy with this lineup. You know, I try not to be too results oriented. If you let me score 280 points every single night, we'd probably make a pretty good living. So. Overall, pretty happy and am not going to be upset about putting up a 280 spot. So let's move right along to last night. So here is last night's lineup, and I tweeted this out. It's at the DF Rankings on Twitter, and this was another really good lineup. We only scored 242, but if you look here, look how beautiful this is. Good enough to sweep every single thing we were in. So we won all 7 heads-ups, and we had a cash in our layup in the GPP. So obviously very happy. It's incredible that 280 doesn't win you much, but 242 can. So it's all about the night in the NBA and what everyone does. So this is a lineup that I really want to talk about because it goes against my usual strategy. So what I did here is with the Spurs we knew they were playing a back-to-back, and they went to 3 overtimes the night before. We knew there was going to be a lot of Spurs sitting, and there was going to be a lot of value plays with trades and injuries. So this was really something that I don't normally do, but I loaded up on 4 value plays, 4 very cheap plays, and those were Gary Neal, who was playing for Lance Stevenson. He was 4,000. Kyle Anderson, who with basically the entire Spurs lineup out for only 3,000, was a solid play because I knew he'd be getting a ton of minutes, and he did. He played 31 minutes. Another value play was Jared Dudley. So with the guys in Milwaukee hurt, he's really stepped up lately. He's played a lot of minutes, and when he has, he's been really good, and his salary hasn't caught up to him yet. So I was happy to plug in Jared Dudley for 3,700. And then finally, this utility position really gave me fits, and I swapped in and out of it basically up until game time. So I went with Donald Sloan, who was 3,000. The problem was we didn't know if C.J. Watson was going to play. He had a sinus infection, and I didn't know if he was going to play. So my options were to go with Donald Sloan over Darrell Wright, who would have been filling in for Nick Batum for the Trailblazers. So I was really stuck here. I went back and forth. I preferred Wright if Batum wasn't going to play. It came down to tip off. The Blazers played at 7 o'clock Eastern. The Pacers didn't play till 9 o'clock Eastern, so I really had to make a decision on it early. and I was kind of tied in without redoing the entire lineup. Those guys were both min priced, and I couldn't really swap out of it if I wanted to. It was basically just between those two plays without decimating the entire lineup. And I was really tough. And the reports were in warm-ups, Nick Batum was shooting. He had a wrist injury. He was shooting, but he was grimacing every time he was getting the ball. He didn't look great. So, of course, nothing definitive. I didn't know how many minutes he was going to play. And I figured, I really liked Darrell Wright if Batum wasn't going to play, but I said Sloan could at least see 20 minutes even if Watson does play. I thought he was a little safer, and it was really a coin flip. And I decided to go with Sloan, and very, very happy that I did because Darrell Wright did not play at all, so that would have killed us. And Donald Sloan comes in, plays, let's see how many minutes he played, 36 minutes. Doesn't go crazy, but 25 points from a 3,000 salaried guy is awesome. So very happy that we made that switch, made the right call there, but I waffled back and forth on it for a while. Okay, so what we were able to do then with 4 very value plays, we were able to spend up in some other spots. Now, I went with Lillard, Derek Favors, DeAndre Jordan, and James Harden, which if you followed along, you'll rarely see me get 4 of these guys that are kind of higher priced and 4 very value plays in the same lineup. I'm much more of a give me 8 solid players as opposed to really trying to stack stars or stack value plays with them. So this was very out of character for me. So the guys we went with honestly didn't do anything special. So we paid up for the stars, and I guess I just picked the wrong ones. We got bit a little bit with Lillard, who did not play a whole lot, only 28 minutes. I thought coming off the second night of a back-to-back and triple overtimes, he would maybe play a little less, but not 28 minutes. This game was out of hand, and they didn't need him. So obviously he was pulled and did not play the entire game, but was still able to put up 34 points, which was somewhat respectable. Derek Favors is the one that just absolutely drives me nuts because he only played 18 minutes. Again, this game got out of hand, but I wasn't concerned about the back-to-backs, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but in back-to-backs this season, Favors has played basically the exact same number of minutes in the second game as he did in the first, so I wasn't concerned about that. Favors said after the game that him only playing 18 minutes was a coach's decision. I got to look more into this and see what's going on, but it might have just have been this game was again out of hand, and they wanted to get him some rest. So I'm not too concerned about Favors moving forward, but he did have something like 16 fantasy points in the first quarter, and when he finishes with 24 fantasy points in 18 minutes, it's a little disappointing because imagine if he would have played 30 or 34 minutes, he would have had a big night on that projection. So that's the biggest disappointment of the day. I was super high on Derek Favors and just didn't get it. DeAndre Jordan had his usual 35-point night. Usually he's in the 40s, but can't complain too much here. Good game for DeAndre, and then James Harden, who's just a freak of nature, puts up another 51 spot. So, and didn't even need to score over 20 points. He only had 18, but he piles it with 14 assists and just a massive night. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so not a bad night here. This is not a strategy that you will see me employ too often with super value plays, but everything kind of came together with a 6-game slate. So where do we stand? Currently, that gets us, 7 wins in 7 heads-ups and a small cash is basically going to get us back to even. So very happy with that. Obviously, when you lose 10% on a day, and then you can only then bet 10% to try to get it back, it is difficult to grind it back up, but we are at $98.90 moving forward, so we can play $9 or $10 today. Now, with that being said, it is Sunday, so we've got NFL action. We've also got an NBA slate tonight. I've got some family stuff to do today, so I'm not sure if we're going to get an NBA lineup in. We might just hang tight and take a day off here, but I do want to discuss the NFL a little bit. for those who are interested in playing today. For me, since the basketball season started, I'd be lying to you if I said I've been doing as much NFL research as I was doing before the NBA started. So I'm not comfortable with risking the challenge money on the NFL today. I'll probably have a lineup or two for myself, but it would be an injustice to you guys to risk the bankroll for something that I've not been following as closely as I should have been, or with the NBA. But I will discuss a few options that I like, and for me, it basically starts and ends with the New England Patriots. They're going up against the Jets today. There's a ton of great plays for them. I think the defense is a great play. I think Tom Brady is an awesome play. I think Gronk is a great play. I think LaFell is a great play. And it basically all comes down to there's no team in the NFL like the Patriots that will game plan specifically around a team and beat them whatever it takes. So if it takes 200 yards from Jonas Gray, or if it takes 40 pass attempts from Tom Brady, they switch it up every single week. And this is most definitely a Tom Brady week. The way to beat the Jets is through the air. They're actually pretty good on the ground. And with LeGarrette Blount out today, I just expect them to throw the ball a ton, which means Shane Vereen is in play. Julian Edelman is out, so he leads the team with 92 catches. So where are his targets and his receptions going to go? How about Gronk? How about LaFell? How about Vereen? I think they're all great plays. I would start Brady at quarterback and then stack him with one of those guys. Preferably Gronk or LaFell would be good for me. A couple of value plays for running back real quick. Trey Mason, I think, is a solid play. The Giants give up just an absolute ton of yards on the ground. They're one of the worst rush defenses in the league, and his price has come back down since he had that monster day a couple of weeks ago against Oakland. So I think Trey Mason could really get back to it on the ground and have a big day. Let's see. Latavius Murray is interesting because he's going to get the bulk of the carries. Tough matchup against Buffalo on paper, but they have not been as good in the last 5 games. I think they're actually in the bottom 5 in the rush defense the last 5 games. So he actually might be a little contrarian play because people see, oh man, the Buffalo defense, they're 5th against the run. This is not a good matchup, but really it's not a bad matchup. I expect Murray to be okay today. So there's a couple value plays there. Going to wide receiver, obviously love Odell Beckham. I have him in a dynasty league, but he's a little expensive for me. Oh, okay. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, which where was this? Adam Schefter put a great tweet out this morning. Here's the exact tweet. T.Y. Hilton wants to play, but no Colts player who did not practice but no Colts player who did not practice during the week this season has played Sunday. So basically, you heard it right there. Coach Pagano, if you didn't practice all week, you're not going to play. So even if he's active, which it's a 4 o'clock game, so we'll find out around 2:30 Eastern. I don't know how effective he's going to be. And they already said that Dante Moncrief is going to start creeping into Reggie Wayne's snaps and his routes. So I think Dante Moncrief is just an absolute monster play today for his price, which is only $4,100. With opportunity, he's been outstanding. So I would really like to roster Dante Moncrief. He is a good value play at wide receiver. Just scrolling through the list here, I like Golden Tate because I think that Stafford and the Lions can shred that Chicago defense, and you don't have to pay for Calvin Johnson. I think there's enough to go around, so Golden Tate could be interesting. Talked about LaFell. Here's a good one, Marcus Colston. I think he's super soft. I don't really like the guy, but since the Brandon Cooks injury in PPR, he's basically averaged like 15 or 16 points a game, so he's pretty solid if he finds the end zone. Awesome. This could be a high-scoring game in New Orleans against the Atlanta defense. So Marcus Colston's a decent play. Just scrolling down the list here, looking for some more value plays. If you want to go back to the well with Marquise Wilson, not a good matchup, but it could understand it. Chicago will probably have to throw a lot to stay in this game. Okay, so there you have wide receivers. Again, I just want to go through this quickly for you guys who want to put a lineup together. Um, Tight end starts and ends with Gronk for me. I just think it's so difficult to get the kind of production you get from Gronk. And there's just not a lot of good plays. Just a lot of guys who have been very hit or miss all season long. Gates played last night, so you don't even have access to him. I'm going Gronk and finding a way to get him in the lineup. Okay, so that's about it. If I put together an NBA lineup for tonight, which the games start at 6 p.m., I will make another video and post it, but I want to get this up as soon as possible. So, all in all, we are back on the right side, or not on the right side of our starting number yet, but we're creeping and trending in the right direction. Good luck to everybody today, and I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.